It's November 9th, 2014, and we want to know, can Dick Grayson conquer evil with just the power of his sexy abs?
Does the secret of Pommeline Fritsch rhyme with her last name? The answer may shock you.
All this and more is coming up next. It's Season 2, Ep 6 of DCR, starting now.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the DCR, the podcast that tries to keep you up to date with everything that happens in DC Comics' New 52 line. I, of course, remain your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and I only have a +1 today.
Yes.
Just a +1, the Punmeister General himself, Mr. Brian Glein.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
I am A-OK. This is going to be another one of those weird episodes where it's just you and I.
Yes.
It's always awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It frightens me. I fear change again.
Yes, well, Kelly's gone with Sparkle Motion dealing with Christmas time fancy fun, so.
And Beth's setting up pumpkins everywhere around the house.
Well, yeah.
For fall.
How do you know it's fall if there aren't pumpkins everywhere?
Well, I look at the calendar.
I don't know, Sean.
Does that not work anymore?
I know it becomes fall when everything stops being like creamsicle flavored and becomes evil pumpkin spice flavored.
Spice.
And I just get angry at the universe, but you know.
Man, you get angry at the universe for very little things. But as you guys know, we are going to be covering all of the comics that came out from DC in their new 52 line. So this is your fair warning. There will be spoilers ahead. If you do not want your book spoiled, guess what you should not do? Listen to this episode until you have read your books. That's the correct answer. We do have a lot of them though this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have 15 or 16 this week. So no, I don't know. I got easy ones. Mine are real short and simple.
I did.
So this is probably going to be a pretty lopsided episode. Just
be a Sean-heavy episode.
Yes. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, my dulcet tones, you may not want to listen to this episode either. But that being said, we're going to skip over the questions because there are so many books. And let's just dive right into it as we cover this week's books. Top of the stack, and it's an ending. It's an ending that we're starting the show with because it is Superman Unchained number 9, the last in this miniseries that has taken a little bit of time to get to 9. So I guess they're just playing it safe, going, we made it to 9. Let's just end it here. We finally made it to the top of the mountain, number 9. Do you remember anything that has been happening in this book? I can completely understand if you don't. It's been a little while.
Jim Lee's drawing it. Like a robot dinosaur came to life at one point, right?
Okay.
There's a guy that is like an evil Superman, and his name is Wraith.
Correct.
Not to be confused with the evil version of Batman, whose name is Wrath.
Well, remember, he's not evil per se. He's just been raised by the U.S. military and believes that the government knows best in the military.
Yeah.
That Superman should turn himself over to the military to work with them. And
and there's some anti-technology hacker group.
Correct, Ascension, and they were harnessing the power of something called the Earthstone. Let's just go back to the beginning here. In World War II, they ended up finding this thing that had an alien pod in it. It actually contained Wraith inside it, and also this equation that they've parsed out all the little pieces and parts to basically build all of the technology of today. Take this little part of the equation, and hey, we can make superconductors according to this theory. Take this little portion of it, and hey, radio waves, awesome, we could do that with it. We could go to space with this part. So all of our technology on Earth has been based around this equation that came with Wraith the alien. What we found out over time is that Wraith, while he may not have been part of it, his race of aliens actually do this all the time. They send this little pod with basically the secrets to all this technology on it, and then that culture builds all of their tech off of this equation. And these aliens essentially, since it's based off of their math, have the off switch to all of that technology. And they have now launched an assault against Earth, or they're about to. They're hovering around the sun waiting to attack right now. And Lex Luthor has pointed out that
they're very close to the sun.
Very
in
close
a
to the sun.
Superman comic.
Correct. I don't know what's gonna happen. But Lex has basically convinced Superman that he's given him this little serum that if he injects it into his body, he will basically go supernova and destroy the entire alien fleet. It's the only way you're gonna be able to stop them. There's too many of them. You won't be able to take them out on your own. And Superman has this kind of touching scene with Lois Lane and goes, you know, you're right, Lex. I'm going to go take care of it. It's my problem. And he flies off with the serum to go confront this alien war fleet, essentially sitting out at the sun. There is this really good scene as he's flying up there, and there's the whole fight going on where he's just punching all of the spaceships as he can, where Lex Luthor is talking about why he hates Superman. And I'm going to have to paraphrase it because it's actually very well done. But the gist of it is that Lex Luthor, of course, hates Superman because he is perfection. He's the guy that outshone his genius all of the time. And it's not fair. He's an alien. He's, of course, going to be perfect. He has an unfair advantage in this whole thing. But as he went back and looked over the life of Superman, he found out that this guy isn't really perfect. He makes mistakes all the time. He's just stumbling along just like every other human being. And that kind of pisses off Lex Luthor even more that he's being held up as this symbol when he's really just a regular Joe who can fly around and shoot lasers out of his eyes, of course, at least as far as his decision making. He's not this guy that has all the answers. He's not this guy that just knows what to do, has the right answer in front of him all the time. And Lex goes, and that's kind of why I admire him as well as hate him, because he's really kind of the paragon of everything I've been preaching, that the answers that we seek are in ourselves. They're not out there in the ether. We can't just sit here and wish for an answer to show up. We got to do this stuff ourselves. So he's kind of like giving this little soliloquy slash, I guess, eulogy, for Superman as he's up there beating up the spaceships. It's a very, very well done scene. As I said, it probably doesn't come across in my paraphrase, but the way it was done, very, very well. Superman, meanwhile, punching spaceships right next to the sun. Doesn't toss any into the sun, though.
Man.
He left his playbook behind.
Better be a portal or I'm going to be very disappointed.
He looks left. He looks right. No portals either. No portals abound. And he goes, well, the only option I have then is to go supernova. But just as he's about to inject himself, the aliens shoot him with red sunlight. No, my weakness. And he's all weak, floating out in space. And that
liquid red sunlight?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
That's when Wraith shows up, the other alien, and he kind of takes that very speech that Lex just gave about how we learn from our mistakes and we try to make things better and we try to do the right thing where we can, and he pushes Superman to safety, takes the serum, injects himself, and detonates the fleet of aliens himself as Superman floats back down to Earth. It was actually kind of cool. It was as I said, it was him basically, remember, he wasn't really part of this invasion plan. He was sent to Earth as a kid himself and raised by the U.S. government, and he actually believed he was protecting Earth. He was protecting the people that took him in himself. He just had a much more totalitarian answer to how it should be regulated as far as the superpowers and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay, crisis averted. Superman falls back down to Earth, and we basically cut to a couple months later where Brian, this is where it gets really important.
Okay.
We cut by the Daily Planet offices where Clark Kent and Lois Lane are talking on the phone, and someone has delivered corn bagels to the Daily Planet. And to me, I mean, Clark Kent's taking responsibility for it, but we know he just called up his intern, Brian, over at ClarkKachopolis.com, said, pick him up some corn bagels and drop them off.
Yep.
And then he basically goes on for 2 pages making corn puns the entire time.
Finally, redemption for this series.
But it ends basically with him saying he's going to play it by ear on whether he's going to come back to the Daily Planet or not. And Lois tells him, well, I kind of like what you're doing. You're doing things yourself. You're finding your own way. So get out there and do it. And it's him just kind of jumping off the silo in Smallville like, yeah!
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame! As he's gonna go it his own way and still keep learning from his own mistakes. It's a series that I think if we go back and read it all at once, it's going to play so much better than the way we've been getting it in these little 2-3 month nuggets, because the seams were really showing as far as the waiting 2 months for another issue. And you're like, man, that is a pretty glaring seam in the story right here. So I enjoyed it. I was happy to see corn bagels brought back into the Superman mythos once more.
All we really need to care about.
And I think Wraith is an interesting character because, as we know, he's detonated himself before. He was the quote unquote bomb that dropped over Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So who knows? Maybe he's going to come back and have some more fun again and maybe be an ally of Superman at the end of it. Not in this series because it's over, but you never know. But you have more Superman. We rarely get him up front, so.
Yeah, so we've got Action Comics 36. So we're still dealing with the aftermath of Doomed. And Lana Lang choosing another guy with an S on his chest instead of Superman.
But it's covered in liquid metal.
It is.
That's the better one, obviously.
Everything's better when you cover it in liquid metal. So,
by Dr. John Henry Irons.
Yes. So John Henry Irons and Lana Lang, they're busy taking care of Smallville, and Superman hanging out, Clark Kent hanging out with his beard.
Yep.
His post coming back from a black hole beard.
The Twitter exploded with like, we love bearded Superman.
Really?
It was ridiculous this week. Even Aaron Cooter was like, thanks for all the bearded Superman love. I don't know where that's coming from.
I would have expected the opposite.
Nope. It was total joy and embracing of bearded hipster Superman.
All right. Yeah, 'cause everything was better when Aaron Cooter's drawing it, but still. But yeah, so he's saying, it's like, you know what? Smallville's fine. Lana Lang and John Henry, they're taking care of everything. But I'm gonna go check in on them anyway. And luckily he does, because Lana Lang, she had some bad nightmares or some bad Chinese food the night before. I don't know.
Smallville not known for its good Chinese food.
No. Yeah, in the middle of Kansas, who'd have thought? She went to go investigate something and wound up in some kind of magic evil mist that raised her parents from the dead.
Well, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, so her parents are zombies. Like, why didn't you save us, Lana? And she's crap.
Was that on the Smallville weather? Like, and Sunday we're going to have an evil mist that raises your dead parents.
Looks like we got a green mist coming in here.
Make sure you wear your raincoats.
Yep. Superman, he can't get through the dome of mist that has like encircled the
Man, 2 Stephen King things. We get a dome and
a mist. Yeah, it's just domed itself over a cemetery, maybe a pet cemetery as well, possibly.
Jeez.
If we want to go all in.
It could be the ultimate nightmare.
Stay out of the sewers, everybody. Stay out of the sewers.
We all float down here.
Mm-hmm. Superman, with the help of another hero in the superhero news this week, apparently.
Yes.
So calls up Hero the Toy Master, who helps him figure out how to get into the dome, because I guess it's got like a pulse, because Hero is so young and hip, he knows how to beatbox.
That's right.
He's like, oh yeah.
Wicca, wicca, wicca.
Exactly. It hit it on that third wicca and you can totally get in. So Superman, he goes and he flies into the dome.
It's okay. It's very reasonable to think Superman and portals. We know that.
And so he goes, all right, what can I punch? And it turns out that Lana's parents aren't really zombies. They've been brought to life by this evil tentacle mud skipper thing.
Yeah, that uses the dead bodies like marionettes.
Yeah.
Yum.
I don't know, creepy.
I'm sure Lana's going to be A-okay after all this. No therapy needed whatsoever.
No. So Superman punches out the mud skipper thing. It flies away. Clark works through his rage issues with Lana not dating him by trying to punch everything that's evil around him, and gets very angry that he can't free them from the portal. Well, not from the mist dome. Well, it acts like a portal. Every time he tries to fly through it, it just shoots him back on the other side, so he's like trapped inside of it. So we get this hilarious scene of Superman just getting so angry, like, okay, there's Lana and her boyfriend who's covered in liquid metal. I can't cover myself in liquid metal. All I can do is grow this awesome beard. He just gets really ticked off and starts flying these gigantic circles. You see like 50 speed lines. Like he's tried it like at least 50 times over and over again. He's just not giving up. When suddenly you see a bunch of kindly old men sitting on a porch somewhere going, looks like the mist rolled in today. Sure did.
Reckon that's going to ruin our fishing expedition.
Yep. Nope. It's like I know what's really going to ruin our fishing expedition when Superman finds out it's us that's causing this mist.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Pepperidge Farms remembers when this mist rolled in the last time.
So now Superman's gonna punch folksy old people?
He's gonna punch a group of 3 folksy old men who hang out in front of a barber shop and say hilarious things to Lana.
Well, that's gonna be a very awkward issue of Superman.
Yes.
I'm really a good guy, but these folksy old people, they just pushed me. They pushed me too far.
Looks gorgeous. Lana Lang's still reminding us she's an electrical engineer.
So, good.
Yeah,
I was afraid that was gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Does she tell her dead parents that?
No.
Is she like, oh no, my dead parents,
I think when she's trying to steal herself against her zombie parents, she's like reminding us, come on, you're Lana Lang, you're smart, you're strong, you're the dang best electrical engineer in the world. And I was like, yeah,
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Is it, I mean, it's much different than what we've been getting in action recently.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Halloween-ish.
It's almost like a Halloween issue they were going to have if they didn't get tripped up by Doomed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not quite underground lemurs, but it is still fun, and I mean, I am enjoying Superman working through
his rage issues.
Lon Henry Irons as opposed to Flana. So,
that was painful.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on, I have Earth 2 number 28, where we're going to get backstory. Backstory. And I said it 4 times because we're dealing with the 4 Furies of Apocalypse. Where did they come from? What's their deal, Brian? Who are these 4 Furies of Apocalypse?
Oh.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You didn't need to know.
One's a tiny person in, like, clay.
No, Klee. Well, we're kind of dealing with all of the origins here, so I'm just going to zip through them here. It's the 4 Horsemen, 4 Furies, whatever you prefer to call them. The first one, remember, this is all taking place in the Earth 2 universe. So don't be all like, but that doesn't make any sense. It's all in Earth 2, so they're allowed to do this. Earth 2, Zarnia. Lobo has befriended this little girl, or younger girl, kind of teenage age, and, on Zarnia, the society is split into the high caste and the low caste, and she's a member of the low caste. Her mother is dying of some sort of plague, and Lobo, being the font of knowledge and wisdom, hands her a knife and says, well, you just take what you want, and she goes and stabs people and starts taking the medicine to help her mom.
Fat Lobo or Sexy Time Lobo?
Sexy Time Lobo.
Okay.
Even on Earth 2, it's always time for sexy time.
Okay.
No billowing shirts, though, so
okay.
It's not as bad. In this case, though, she gets captured by the government. They lock her up, and they find out she is a carrier for disease. And she seems to be immune to it. And all of her guards keep dying of this disease that she's carrying, and they say, hey, while you've been locked up, Apocalypse and Darkseid, they're kind of coming here to Zarnia to kill us all. We have this idea. We'll let you go. We'll even help out your family, whatever's left of them, because your mom died, of course. All you have to do is we're going to inject you with maybe like every disease known to Zarnian kind, and you can just be like a plague bearer and just go be our emissary to Apocalypse. You'll show up.
Oh, I hope no one's trying to form a 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah. So they inject her all with all of these diseases and everything and send her up there as the emissary. And as soon as she gets up there, they go, hey, we're kind of immune to all diseases, but I'm thinking you probably don't like the Zarnians. She goes, no, I really hate them. You want to go kill them all? She's like, yeah, I would. Okay, welcome aboard Pestilence. Horseman number 1. Horseman number 2, we go to Warworld. Warworld. Where Mongol is entertaining Steppenwolf. He kind of came over for dinner. I guess that's what the supervillains of the DCU do. Yes. And they're watching this huge lady who is killing the people in the Warworld pits and is eating them afterwards and is like, raw, I am evil. And she joins them at dinner, and Steppenwolf goes, what is good in life, giant lady? And she says, to crush my enemies, see them driven before me, and hear the lamentations of their women. Not really, but kind of to just keep eating. I just want to taste life and death and everything. And Mongol's like, well, whoa, you can't be afraid to die or anything. And she goes, well, yeah, if I die, I'm not going to be able to eat all these people anymore. And that would kind of suck. And Steppenwolf goes, well, if you become a 4 horsemen of apocalypse, you'll be immortal and you can eat all the people you want. So she takes a bite out of crime, or in this case, Mongol, and ends up joining Steppenwolf and becomes Famine. Da, 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 horseman number 2. Mongol, though, very irate. He is not inviting anyone from Apocalypse over for another one of his dinner parties. Every time I bring you guys over, you steal my champions. I don't like you guys.
Bite me in half.
Now, on Apocalypse itself, it says in Earth 2, I guess it was while Apocalypse was in Earth 2's dimension at that point, because remember, there is only one Apocalypse, a spaceship crashes on Apocalypse, and Big Barda and some of the other trainers go and check it out, and there's this small Tamaranian girl there. We know her as Kali.
Okay.
And she has killed all the parademons around her, and they're like, whoa, this little girl's a little creepy, so why don't you come on back and we'll put you through Fury School? And that's what they do, and she ends up keep killing all of the rival classmates except for this one that's her friend until graduation day when they're brought before Darkseid, and then Kali stabs her best friend through the face so that there's no other choice and she gets to be the Fury of War. Yay! There's a lot of speculation that might be Starfire of Earth 2.
Oof.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah, no Valky Starfire there. If that's the case.
Starfire at Earth 2. Nope.
I missed that episode of Perfect Strangers when Valky was stabbing everyone with spears through the face. It must have been
why do you think he had to leave Meepos? Come on.
The unknown history of Meepos.
Standing tall. It's actually stabbing tall. On the wings of my dreams.
Stab up. Last but not least, Earth 2 Mars is under attack by Darkseid and Apocalypse. That's why there are no people living on Mars, because Apocalypse kind of went through and went all genocidal. And there's a mother there, and her kid, her baby, literally, her infant is killed in the entire fight, and she ends up just scrabbling a grave together with her bare hands and burying her baby. And they enslave her and they torture her, but she doesn't die. They don't feed her. They just beat her mercilessly and she doesn't die. And they're like, what the hell? So Darkseid goes, bring me that lady that doesn't die. That's kind of intriguing. And she walks up to him and he's like, what's the deal, lady? We've done everything to try to kill you essentially and you just don't die. Why? What is your aversion to death? And she tells him, well, my baby died. And he goes, oh, I get it. Well, you've touched death and death walks with you now. And obviously you're not going to be able to die. But what if I told you me and you could knock some sexy tunic boots and I could give you another baby if you became my Fury of Death? And she goes, okay, sounds like a good replacement for my other baby. And it's Darkseid sexy time. Bow chicka bow wow. And that's why she has the distended belly. She's actually pregnant with Darkseid's child as she's going around being the Fury of Death. And it ends with, oh, woe to you when this child is born, this destroyer of worlds, because shit's about to go south at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does not KO?
It will KO maybe another kid.
Okay.
I'm thinking this one is just a future plot thread where we're going to have another Darkseid's child. Maybe the first one, like KO went completely bonkers and he's like, God, I hate that kid. So he just wanted to knock up another one and just have some options when it comes to heirs of the throne of Apocalypse.
I know he probably didn't actually say it, but now I can't get the image of Darkseid going, what's the deal, lady, out of my head.
It'll be like that one panel where Darkseid trips.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever see that one?
No.
I forget which one it was in, but it's like Darkseid stumbles coming down the stairs, and it's Desaad standing there going like, I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. So sticking with Earth 2 though, because we got a lot of stuff. World's End, number 5, also came out this week. As I said, you guys are going to listen to me a lot this week, so deal with it, I guess. Green Lantern Alan Scott on Earth 2.
That wasn't World's End? That was Earth 2?
That was Earth 2. Yeah, that was they're using Earth 2 as backstory and filler stuff for the World's End because that's kind of the driving narrative of the Earth 2 right now.
Gotcha.
Green Lantern Alan Scott is having a beatdown, a slobber knocker in Brazil. I'm going to say Rio de Janeiro. I didn't see the giant Jesus.
Okay, yeah, because we don't know if it's actually Rio de Janeiro if we don't see the giant Jesus.
Well, exactly. Remember, establishing shots. We need that.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say he's in Brazil.
Okay.
Punching up Grundy. And that's when the green shows up, like the actual aspect of the green, and goes, hey, you two, quit fighting. You guys need to work together. And they kind of both laugh at her like, why would we work together? We're opposing things here. He's part of the gray. I'm part of the green. Why would we do that? And she goes, no, you don't understand. You're all like different aspects, but we all are part of the earth. We're all defenders of the earth, and you guys have to work together to do that because let me introduce you to your other brethren. We are the parliament of the earth. There's me, the green. There's the red, all the animals and creatures, the gray, kind of the rot and disease of your thing, Grundy. But we also have the white, which is the atmosphere that protects earth. And the blue, which is the oceans that garner life throughout the planet. And together, all of us form Captain Planet. Not really, but in this case, together, we all must defend Earth from Apocalypse and Darkseid. So I guess we're going to have the Planeteers out there. Kind of better Planeteers.
That was basically like Whoopi Goldberg telling them all this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because she was like the Earth lady, right?
Gaia, yeah. Now, elsewhere, Aquaman is really ticked off that Atlantis has been leveled by the, now we know, pregnant Death. The Horseman of Apocalypse, Death, has killed all of the residents of Atlantis. And she, of course, is going to release the Atlantean equivalent of WMDs as she goes downstairs and starts opening the doors to the Leviathans of old to consume Darkseid and his minions and probably everyone else. And she's like, it's probably going to kill everything, but Atlantis is no more, so what the heck do I have to worry about? It's just me. Boop, doop, and opens the door. A whole bunch of little vignettes here, so I'm just kind of like doing little snapshots elsewhere. Jimmy Olsen is yelling Nintendo Power slogans at the mother box, and he's like, now I'm playing with power! And, the mother box actually starts talking back to him, and they have this little jibber jab back and forth when the mother box goes, Jimmy Olsen, you are unique, you are special, and you're probably gonna die today. Just thought I'd let you know. And he's like, oh, sad face, Jimmy Olsen. Dr. Fate, Hawkgirl, and Flash are fighting famine over in London. Again, this is like mile a minute, man, so I'm just giving you all the snapshots. And while that's going on, the World Army is preparing for their invasion of Apocalypse. They're trying to get together all their supplies, get together their team, etc., etc. Hey, we're gonna go to Apocalypse, we're gonna open up that gate, we're gonna stop Apocalypse from coming to Earth 2 and destroying it. And that's when they have a Mr. Terrific off. I guess it's kind of like a rib-off, but both Mr. Terrific and Mr. Horrific, of course Terry Sloan and Michael Holt, are have been working on some things in secret that they didn't let anyone else in on. And Terry Sloan goes, ta-da, and he uncloaks his spaceship of doom so they can get to Apocalypse. He's like, this is what I've been working on. And Michael Holt goes, ta-da, I integrated Boom Tomb technology into my T-spheres, and it basically creates a vortex that rips everything apart at a submolecular level. Yay! This should help us fight. They're like, God, you guys are horrible. Elsewhere, finally, our last little vignette. Desaad, down in the fire pits, is facing off against Val-Zod, Batman, of course, being Thomas Wayne on Earth 2, Red Tornado, who we know as Lois Lane in a robot body, Power Girl and Huntress are basically going, no, do not drop Huntress into the giant lava pits below you, because Desaad caught her at the end of last issue. And basically Batman shoots a tracer onto Huntress as Desaad runs away with her, and they go, okay, we'll just follow him down and find her and release her. But as they work their way down, you're never gonna guess what they find, Brian. You're never gonna guess. Just take a wild stab.
A Red Lantern?
No, not a Red Lantern. They find another Superman down underneath there. Except this one looks like he's been tested on. He's got like weird growths on his skin, like tumors almost, and he's not looking good. And of course, remember that's Power Girl's dad in this on Earth 2. That's Lois Lane's husband on Earth 2. It's kind of like everyone's like, oh crap, it's you, or is it you? We've kind of had a bad run of meeting you recently, so hopefully it's you.
Our girl's dad or cousin still?
Well, it's still cousin, but he raised her like a father.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like blood relatives. She showed up younger and he raised her as as his child, essentially. But yeah, Earth 2 again, mile a minute, man, mile a minute. They're just going, which if you're doing a entire Earth 2 versus Apocalypse War, like all of the heroes of Earth 2 and all of the villains of Apocalypse, all the fourth world gods of evil, yeah, it's going to be pretty big. So I'm hoping the Earth 2 title, while it's filling in a lot of these plot holes so they don't have to use that real estate in World's End, I'm hoping it kind of also does some helpful fitting in some of these little vignettes into larger scenes, because some of them were very quick and very like, okay, you got the gist of it? Okay, we're moving on now. We don't have time for you to like really relish this. So we'll see. We'll go from there.
Yeah. What am I going on to?
Oh yeah, I forgot I didn't send out the list. We were keeping it green because we had Green Lantern in that one.
So we're doing Swamp Thing 36.
Correct.
All right. Swamp Thing, at the end of last issue, he was getting burned alive by the computer intelligence that is coming through as a new...
The machine,
the new entity. What were we referring to these as?
Like the red, aspects.
The aspects, yeah. The red and the gray and the green, etc., etc. So now we've got like a silver, maybe? Let's call it the silver for the time being.
I think they call it the metal or something.
The metal?
Like that.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so he's fighting the metal representatives, and he's way too creative for these pre-programmed work in a straight line computer guys. So they burn him alive. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of everywhere. I'm Swamp Thing. That's kind of my thing.
You're in a swamp. I am the thing that is the swamp.
Yes. So like, all Calculus's little like robot minions, they get like swallowed by gigantic pitcher plants, which looks awesome.
Yes.
And then he like he takes the Calculus guy. He's like, all right, listen, I told you to leave me alone. Be good. Go ahead, keep growing, but stop being such a jerk about it.
And Calculus joins the Hawkeye gang as well. He's like, chill, bro. Bro, we're cool, bro.
Yes. My favorite thing about Calculus is he seems to have learned how to speak from the internet.
Yeah.
So like he'll be talking all like intelligently and stuff. Then suddenly he's like, come on, bro. Come on.
GTFO, bro.
Yeah. So he squishes Calculus's head. And so he goes, and so what Swamp Thing decides to do now, I was like, you know what, I should better start warning the people from the other aspects. So he goes off to the Rot to see his ex-girlfriend, Abby Arcade, and he says, hey, is this machine thing we should probably worry about? Okay. Want to do anything else? Want to make out? Can't touch each other. Want to make some like plants and rot things, kind of form versions of ourselves and watch them make out?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we could do that.
It's the supernatural aspect version of making a VHS tape to watch afterwards. And they're just watching their plant rot things make out. And they're like, yeah.
It hurts, but it hurts so good. All right. So at the machine's headquarters down at the South Pole.
Now that we just ruined all touching moments of that scene.
Yes. So now we go to the South Pole where the machine has their superheated computer where they do all their calculations and whatnot. And there's multiple calculuses.
Awesome.
Yes. We've got calculus red, calculus green, calculus blue. But so they're all arguing. It's like, hey, maybe we should get an avatar. You know, Green's got an avatar, Rot's got an avatar.
Everyone else has one.
Why don't we have one? Yeah. And eventually there's like an overpowering like Omega calculus. Like, I'm the ultimate calculus. I say no. It's like, oh, but you persuaded me. Let's pick an avatar. Let's see, who are like the robot people in the DC universe? There's regular Cyborg. Well, no. Justice League, yeah. There's Cyborg Superman. It's like, should we really have a character named Cyborg and an evil character named Cyborg Superman? It's kind of confusing. Don't you think we should give him a better name than Cyborg Superman? Yeah, that's way too confusing. We'll ignore that.
Just the naming conventions alone would be really difficult.
Metallo, he's kind of crazy. The Metal Men, no, they like human beings too much.
Why is this so hard?
Earl J. Dukeston, the Duke of Oil.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What?
They call out the Duke of Oil. My favorite terrible villain of all time gets a shout out in this month's Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, no, not the, I think the Omega guy's just like, nope. They don't even give it a justification. It's like, nope.
Does Bawana Beast show up?
No, Bawana Beast does not show up. So I still think he's the guy that was yelling at Swamp Thing in the Coda issue. So let's think about, maybe it's not, we don't need someone who's a cyborg. Maybe we need to think outside the box, expand our paradigms, et cetera, et cetera. How about someone who can't walk right now, probably needs robot parts? How about Lady Weeds?
Oh boy.
Nothing bad can happen when we do that, right?
She's proven herself to be a dedicated and honorable person to deal with.
She's sitting paralyzed with a broken neck in a hospital somewhere. I'm sure nothing bad could happen if we give her robot parts.
Although, if you go into a very unkempt server room, the cables are a lot like weeds. So, I can see the crossover here where we're going.
Thank you for the IT perspective there, Sean. I'm glad you can bring that into the story.
I'm really expecting that's what it's going to be is, Lady Weeds will get the robot powers and then just mess up the server rooms of all the superheroes and they'll be like, there's cables everywhere.
What does this plug into? I don't know.
It looks like rainbow bright vomited colors everywhere. I really like the, expansion of the mythos in Swamp Thing. Charles Soule has done a wonderful job in making me give a crap about the Parliament of Trees. We talked about that last week with the annual, where each one of the Parliament members are now going to be characters that we followed along with. Now he's adding actual aspects into the mythos to make it, hey, here's a modern aspect that hasn't been added in the last 20 years. There you go. Have fun. Go with it. And, I think it will open up a lot of venues for Swamp Thing should he survive the loss of soul.
Yes.
I'm hoping he does, but should he do so? We have many doors available to us.
Yes.
I did want to go Green-orama, though.
Okay, so am I going Green Arrow?
No. I'm going Green Lantern.
Okay. You took that as weird. Go ahead.
Well, you told me I had Green Lantern and I had New Guardians.
Yeah, I just didn't realize it came out. I didn't actually look at what you read this week.
Wow.
It's been busy. It's been busy.
Well, if you didn't read Green Lantern, let me tell you that the opening of this book is Orion being called in to talk to Highfather while Metron's talking to him, and as Metron leaves, Orion gives him the most scowliest face he can and calls him a tattletale as he floats out the door. And I was like, yes, I just love the stupidity of these new gods.
Yes.
So Orion gets called in there, and Highfather's like, dude, why did you kill a bunch of Green Lanterns? He's like, they were enemies. You told us to get rid of the rings. You told us to, to do whatever we had to find out the information. He's like, yeah, I said contain them. I didn't say murder them. Now they're gonna hate us. Now they're gonna attack us, and we're gonna have these annoying green flies all around us all the time that we'll have to keep swatting down. They could have been conscripted. They could have joined us. But you just ruined everything. Way to go, Orion. Maybe someday you'll actually think before you fight. And he just kind of floats out on his scooter like, the only thing I am good at is fighting. And I guess he's just going to go yell at Metron for telling on him. The fact that it's just Orion floating in, calling Metron a tattletale as Metron has this big grin on his face is just ridiculously humanizing for these characters. Yes. Ridiculously humanizing. So let's go off to the actual lanterns that we're dealing with here. Hal Jordan and the remainders of the Green Lantern Corps that he did not get killed in their assault on the New Gods have made their way to New Korugar. They're gonna hide. We have to get somewhere where they're not gonna look for us. Of course, New Korugar is what, Brian? The home of
Sinestro.
Yes, and his Sinestro Corps.
Thank you for asking me as I was mid-yawn.
I know, it was, I looked up just too late, so. As we know from Sinestro's issue, like a week or two ago, he just rescued John Stewart and the Indigo Lanterns as well, so they're also there, and it's all like this big buddy pal up where they're like, man, I can't believe we're hanging out with Sinestro. Whatever, we get, strange bedfellows in times of war and everything. And the New Guardians show up at that point. Like the new Guardians show up. And they're like, guys, it's even worse than you thought. It's horrible. There's, there's a source wall and Kyle Rayner's alive still. and he's had all the power. And they're like, whoa. Kyle Rayner's alive? And they're like, yeah, he's alive. We pulled him out of the source wall, but he kind of took the power with him, so that's why we had to keep him hidden. He hasn't been flying around with your ex-girlfriend, though, Hal Jordan, and making all the sexy faces with her, but don't worry about that whatsoever. And he's like, I wasn't worried about that. What's that? So they basically filled him in on the story thus far. The new gods have come to take all the rings so that they can try to recreate the source, and they're trying to get that energy out of Kyle, and once they do, they're going to lead an extinction-level war against Darkseid, and the Guardians want to prevent that. They go, okay, Hal Jordan, you're going to need to do this. You're the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. And he's like, well, what if, I mean, these guys have been going out and picking up all the rings from like the reds, the yellows, the greens. There is one corps that we haven't heard from that they didn't touch. What if we go talk to them and see if they'll help us out? And the Guardians are like, no way! No, we forbid it. You are in charge of the Green Lanterns. You get out there. You start planning. You start putting together our assault plan for how we're going to get to New Genesis, and just do your job as a leader. And Hal Jordan goes, fine, whatever. And he goes into the back room and he starts looking at the maps and figuring out squads on who's going to do what, all the mundane bureaucracy. And Sinestro, in one of my favorite scenes out of this entire week, comes in and he's like, what happened to you? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm in charge of the Green Lantern Corps. I'm doing leader stuff now. He's like, this is not you, Hal Jordan, whatsoever. We have made no secret.
When was the last time you got hit on the head by something?
Yeah, that's what it is. He got hit with a coconut and he just thought he's a leader now. I'm sorry. I have made no secret that I've tried to murder you many times over the years. He's like, yeah, we're best frenemies. That's what we do. We try to kill each other. He's like, now do you know why I have not succeeded in killing you, Hal Jordan? He's like, 'cause of my awesome willpower. No, Hal Jordan, that's not what it is. I can crush anyone's willpower. What it is that you are such an unpredictable lunatic. I have no idea what you were going to do. Put me against anyone with a modicum of planning or common sense. I'll crush them every single time. You would do irrational things. Just whatever came to mind or whatever didn't come to mind even, and I can't keep up with it. That's how you always beat me. So why are you the lapdog to these Guardians? Why are you just like plotting and planning? Just do what you always do. Whatever you want. He goes, okay, I guess we'll do that. And as the cores all get together and they fall back, they are going through a portal to Quard. They're going to the antimatter dimension to hide. They let them, they're going there to regroup, and Hal Jordan is going to go off on his own. And there's like this big handshake scene where it's like, are you going to take care of everything on your end? Yeah, I'll take care of everything on my end. You going to do your side? He's like, of course I'm going to do my side. I'm Hal Jordan. I do the unpredictable. And it's kind of like where I'm going, I know Sinestro has a scheme. Like this is obviously being manipulated to work out to his benefit. But I kind of also like the fact that he's the guy that keeps Hal Jordan in check. Where
Yeah.
he's like, you know, if we're going to hate each other, I want to hate the you that I really hate. So just go back to that if you could. So I kind of enjoy that. And then Hal Jordan flies back to Earth to Coast City where, how do I put this? Black Hand, in his boredom, and this is literally stated, Hal Jordan comes in because he has put together a circus where he's resurrected Harry Houdini and the Flying Graysons, and he's just sitting there eating popcorn with all these dead people, like, oh, the show's about to start, and Hal Jordan shows up and goes, dude, this is jacked up for you. What are you doing? He's like, I got bored. You've been having space adventures for like 3 years now. You haven't been back to Earth yet. So I just started a circus and we're just having fun. And he's like, okay, we'll get past that, but I'm not here to fight you. And there's this funny scene where it's just Black Hand like, really? Why are you here? What's the deal? You want to see the circus? I put on a hell of a show. And he's like, no, what I want you to do.
Topsy the elephant over here. Come on.
I want you to take your show on the road, Black Hand. You're coming on a space adventure with me. And he's like, yeah, space adventure. He's bringing Dick Grayson's dead parents along with him, it looks like.
Awesome.
Too. So
Man, get that into an issue of Grayson.
Dick Grayson and Lana Lang can hang out be besties at any point now. So, yeah. The book is great. I love this this whole thing. So it's been really rocking and rolling for me. Wrap up the half for me, though.
Future's End, that means, right?
Yes, that's what it means.
Let me just find it in my notes. There we go. So, New 52, Future's End 27. We start, it's 5 years in the future.
5 years in the future.
We're going through a bunch of crap. There's all sorts of characters. Let's speed through it.
You didn't take notes, did you?
Kind of. So, on Green Arrow Island, Deathstroke has a tracker in him. I think, what's his name? The mask guy.
The
Komodo?
mask guy.
Komodo?
Komodo.
He put it in him. So we're gonna, so we know where Cadmus Island is now. Let's go there. In Metropolis, Lois Lane comes home from a hard day's work at a world famous blog, The Fast Lane, only to find former Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know is currently living under the name Skip Shoesmith,
No!
is sitting in her living room. He gets angry with her and points out the clue box that she's just had sitting as like a conversation piece on her coffee table.
That's what it is.
For the past 5 months.
Whenever anyone comes in, she's like, hey, what do you think of all these random objects on my table?
Yeah. So he points out, it's like, hey, here's what these things are. Here's the directions. Well, yes, shouldn't you go to the island? It's like, no, my girlfriend is missing. I'm going to go find her. But hey, why don't you go and, find that instead? Go back there. But I already went there once. It almost seems like it was pointless that I went there the first time. Well, no, go again and just jump out of a plane, Lois Lane.
You'll
just
be fine.
Jump out of a plane. You will be fine.
No mere plane, though.
The fast plane.
The fast plane.
So, on Cadmus Island, Grifter, Deathstroke, and Earth 2 Lana Lang are going to have to secure the Cadmus Superhero DNA Vault, which will come into play in one of my other books later.
Really?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mr. Miracle is fighting all of the Earth 2 superheroes that have been taken over by Brother Eye, and at one point we see an OMAC with Aquaman grafted to its back.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
No. And it's like, literally, it's like she's like when Kratos rides a Cyclops in God of War. Like, that's what she is. She's just kind of like, her upper torso is mounted onto the back, like she's riding an OMAC.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's totally not horrifying or nightmare-inducing at all. So, at the Wounded Duck, Batman Beyond and Plastique, who
Get it? Because it's Tim Drake and he's injured?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Batman Beyond and Plastique, who refuses to change out of her superhero costume, are hanging out at Skip Shoesmith's bar trying to recruit him. And, Plastique's like, do you mean Kip Bootsmith? No, I mean Skip Shoesmith, the former Red Robin. I can't find him. He's not on shift. He might have the day off. I don't know.
Who's going to clean those glasses then?
I know. So,
you can't have adventures. Someone has to keep that place clean.
Yeah. So I'm going to go snoop around his apartment. And so Batman Beyond runs into actual Batman, who is also looking for Skip Shoesmith, and wants to know what's up with the bat motif there, buddy. That's kind of my thing. I loaned it out to a whole bunch of people, but I don't recall getting your franchise fee.
Yeah, you have to pay licensing fees, mister.
Yeah. And then suddenly a bomb goes off that looks surprisingly like the after dinner mint that Plastique was playing with in the last scene. So we'll see what's going on with that. So we cut to the fast plane. And
don't you feel like you're there?
Yeah, I feel like I'm there. You're a regular guy from Police Academy. Eric Winslow. There we go. So we're on Lois Lane.
You didn't have that in your notes either, I'm assuming?
No. So we're on Lois Lane's blogging jet. Her pilot's just like, so, gonna jump out of the plane this time? She goes, yeah, I guess so. It's on the cover. I may as well jump out of the plane. And so Lois Lane jumps out of the plane onto nothing. And we will see if she lands on Cadmus Island next month.
I hope she actually...
Where absolutely nothing bad can happen on Cadmus Island.
I hope she actually hits the force field dome and then just goes... Whereas
Even
just
better.
the scene of Deathstroke and them all fighting, and all of a sudden she just kind of makes a squishy face against the glass and just slides down.
Fantastic.
I would laugh during that scene.
Yeah.
Again, that one's also picking up speed still. It just says all their different threads are really starting to tie together into all these different characters. Obviously, 50 Sue is going to play a role here coming up with the Cadmus folks, especially since she's kind of working with Brother Eye now.
Yeah.
Kind of? Don't quite know, or she might be playing him. We don't even know ourselves.
Or he's playing her, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. She's a little kooky in the brain, so... what do you have coming up for round 2, though, Brian?
That's a darn good question. Well, I haven't done Green Arrow yet. I haven't done Justice League 3000 yet. I've
Correct.
got Batman and Gotham Academy.
No, you do not have Batman. You
I've
have
got Detective Comics. It's a book that features Batman.
But it's not Batman. That's an entirely different title. And I have Batman Eternal, Grayson number 4, my book of the week by far.
Yeah.
Lobo number 2, and I will wrap it up with Aquaman and the Others number 7. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go through those books. We are for the all-encompassing Bat half of the show, because I'm going to start off with Batman Eternal number 31, the 31st installment of our weekly series concerning Batman. The cover, absolutely amazing. As I said, back-to-back, Alfred and Bane fighting off the D-Man bats underneath Arkham Asylum there. But we ended on a cliffhanger last week, Brian. Do you remember our cliffhanger?
No.
Joker's daughter had bombs strapped to her.
Oh, yes!
And was going to detonate.
She's finally going to kill herself.
Both her and Batman. And we get first page here. The bombs were a dud. Nothing happens.
No, wah.
No such luck for you.
I'll have a cliffhanger ending like that later as well.
Batman just punches her in the face, takes her in. And as all the people are trying to rescue, of course, Arkham Asylum has just fallen down into a giant sinkhole after Deacon Blackfire's opening a portal to hell. It does that. It's bad for structural integrity. The people are up top, the firemen, the police, etc. They're trying to get people to safety. And unfortunately, the people that are coming out are people like Clayface, Mr. Zsasz, Mr. Freeze, and they're just murdering firemen left and right. So Batman kind of goes, I should probably do something about that, and starts capturing basically a slew of his iconic villains. Just, here I am being Batman taking down Mr. Freeze. Here I am being Batman taking down Mr. Zsasz. And ta-da, it's him just fighting a bunch of different guys. Elsewhere, below Arkham Asylum, as we know, Alfred was in the asylum when it collapsed in because he had got injected with the fear toxin, and then Hush checked him out of the hospital and checked him into Arkham. And he's kind of stuck under this rubble, and he's having hallucinations of his drill sergeant yelling at him from the British Secret Service. And that's when Bane shows up and pulls the rock off of him, and he's like, hey, I need your help. And he's like, oh, of course, what can I... If we work together, we can both get out of here. He's like, no, I just need you to walk behind me, and if something kills you, make a noise so I know someone's behind me. He's like, well, that's not very gentlemanly of you, and they kind of make their way through the sewers. They do get into attacked by these D-Man bats, and they end up fighting them off, and it's even Alfred like, hi-ya, beating them down, and Bane even stops and regards them with some respect. He's like, you're ex-military, aren't you? He's like, yep, you know it, ha-ha, and I have the entire sewer system memorized, so follow me, Bane. And Bane's like, I'm not following you, I'm kind of a born leader here, so we're going this way, and they kind of start trekking off into the sewers. Meanwhile, Spoiler has been knocked out, maybe not knocked out, but at least knocked off her motorcycle by Hush, because she keeps spoiling his plans online, on the Facebooks. Just like, Hush is doing this, and he's like, why does she keep updating her status? So he has tracked her down, and he's about
There's only a like button. Why is there not a dislike button?
He keeps, it's her like, Hush is going to do this, and then Hush underneath like, am not. But he has tracked her down, knocked her off her motorcycle, and is about to shoot her in the head, but as we see, she has turned on a beacon on the bat signals to basically kind of alert Batman, and he gets the signal, and he's going to go check it out because he doesn't have any operatives left in town. Who is this? who's over here doing this stuff? So he's going to go take a peek and find out. As he's doing so, they also find out that Alfred was inside the asylum at the time, and he has to make the decision. What's he going to do? Do I check this out? Do I go try to find Alfred? Batman's like, I'm just going to go check out this signal. And of course, his daughter, Julia, is working in the Batcave, and she's like, but my dad, no. And as they're doing this, down in the sewers, Alfred leads Bane into this dead-end alleyway, and Bane's all like, oh, you're a horrible leader. You led us to a dead end. He's like, no, I didn't. And he pushes like a little secret button, and it shoots out a bunch of knockout gas onto Bane, who falls unconscious, and it opens up into a hidden bat cache, and it's basically him just putting on the headset, and he just goes, Penny 1 back online, and everyone's like, yeah! Actually, it's like Batwing is going, holy crap, thank God, someone please help me. I'm stuck under a rock in the dark. His daughter's like, but how? And Batman, of course, does not even seem surprised. He's like, it's Alfred. He's good at this stuff. Welcome back, buddy. Let's go kick some ass. And that's what it kind of ends on. It was a great yay moment for Alfred. You don't get enough of him, really, but it was just him being so badass as he comes back online. I mean, remember, he's still injected with fear toxin. He's got the slumped over body of Bane right behind him, and he's just like, yep, let's do this. I'm gonna go back in charge again. Go Bat Team. It was nice. I liked it a lot. So this book is still my marquee Bat title.
Yeah.
It actually has, I think, supplanted Batman for the time being, as far as a continuous story just going. That Batman has just been chopped up into all the pieces because of Zero Year and them going back. And then we've already had the present before that, and now we're dealing with the future with Endgame. It just doesn't feel as linear. I'm sure once it's all done and I go back and read it with Eternal in the middle there, it's gonna feel a lot more jointed, but because it's been all chopped up, this one feels a lot more just rooted, and the weekly schedule helps. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
Where every week it's just like go,
Batman, you want Batman, you're getting Batman every week.
Batman.
All this remind me of my old comic shop guy, Dave. He doesn't run a shop anymore, but he would always talk about how bad he wanted an Alfred book.
Yeah.
And this issue seems like, yes, here's your Alfred book.
Yeah, pretty much. It was actually very fun, him dealing with Bane, though, because, I mean, he's Alfred. He's kind of a frailish looking old guy, and Bane's just this hulked out, roided guy. And he's like, why am I even following this guy? What is it about his British accent that makes him a leader?
Man, I tell you, that accent.
So, do your bats.
Detective Comics.
That's right.
Number 36. I'm correct. Hooray. All right, so we are checking in with Eco McEco-Terrorist.
Yeah, see?
Magnus Magnuson. I didn't read the first part, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here.
You didn't even go back. I even gave you the issue so you could go back because I was giving you this one.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
You are so prepared this week.
Yep, it's been a weird week. So he has taken over a Gotham City airport by releasing a virus or something. Batman tries to track him down with the help of the also infected police and medical people who are quarantining the terminal. Oh, the story's called Terminal. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's because they're at an airport.
Mm-hmm. And so
no other reason.
Yep. And so the germ weapon is making Batman old or something. He's like graying at the temples. And
yep. It accelerates their aging.
I see. All right. Batman finds out that Eco McEco-Terrorist is going to Eastern Europe. So he figures, all right, I know who I can contact for this.
Who does he know in Eastern Europe?
Grayson.
Oh, yeah.
Calls up Dick Grayson. So track down Eco McEco-Terrorist. Grayson makes a long journey from Milan to Minsk and goes to Club Hell, where he makes out with a suicide girl who knows where Eco McEco-Terrorist is.
Yeah, sexy abs.
Yep. It's like, oh yeah. And I love how this lady in Minsk is just like, oh yeah, Magnus Magnuson. Hold on, make out with me a little bit. Yeah, he's in Gotham City. How do I know he's in Gotham City? Ignore that part. He's in Gotham City. It's very easy.
No,
we can wrap this up in 2 issues, don't you worry.
They even said that they were ex-lovers and he kind of abandoned her, and she obviously has a dominatrix personality and does not like people not obeying her.
Yes.
Which Grayson shows her up by flexing his sexy abs and walking out the door.
Oh man, those abs that will change the world. So
You have no idea. Wait until this next
man.
issue.
And also, his blood is the antidote. It's a nice, easy fix him up. So Batman finds Mickey terrorist, takes him out with the help of Police Chief Bohr, who, thanks to the virus, is literally becoming too old for this crap.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
They get the blood and they start curing people, but Chief Bohr is going to die anyway.
Because he has cancer.
So Batman buys him a ticket for Hawaii so he can die like he wanted to.
And he gets to go on vacation himself.
Yes.
Yay!
Ooh, go Batman.
That's all this story has been, is
Batman trying to go on
Bruce
vacation.
Wayne trying to go on vacation
Yeah.
for a week at Alfred's orders.
Yes. That's what that was. I do vaguely remember that now. Can't even go to the airport without...
This happens every time I go to Subway, too. It would be kind of a bad thing to see
What's
Batman.
Poison Ivy doing to the Fixins bar at Subway? Oh, my God.
It would be.
Why?
I would be terrified to see actual Batman show up because you know something horrible is about to happen. It's just like, oh God, who's gonna die?
Actually, my washing machine's out of order. I gotta go to the laundromat. Oh no, laundry monster!
It's the top. He's invaded all the dryers. Anyhow, what did you think though? The art style.
Oh yeah, the John Paul Leon artwork was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was so just stood out to me this week. As even the last issue when it came out, it just does not fit. There's a lot of complaints that there's a DC house style of art. And I can see where people are coming from on some titles.
On some titles, I can totally understand that.
But there are so many of these books like this that are just completely different. And this one really stood out in comparison to its contemporaries. Speaking of standing out against its contemporaries, though, Grayson number 4. I've made no qualms in saying how much I have loved this book to date, and this issue really cements home, and I think it will explain to all of you, including you, Brian, why you should be reading this book. So we're going to start off. They are, of course, trying to find these mechanical organs that give people basically superpowers. It's kind of like the stomach that has a high metabolism, so you get flash powers, or I don't know, the kidney that gives you laser beam eyes, and sure, just it's all these different things that this group called Spiral.
Pancreas that lets you talk to fish.
Yeah, those types of things. But this group Spiral is trying to get all the pieces and parts before they fall into other clandestine organizations' hands. And Dick Grayson and Bertinelli are attending their most recent debriefing because they need
Valerie Bertinelli?
Did I say?
No.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying something stupid.
Okay, I was making sure I didn't say that. They're attending this debriefing that's basically telling them they need to go invade Checkmate's Black Knight headquarters so that they can get the information on where some of these other organs are. But the entire meeting is quite literally Dick Grayson slurping on a lollipop to a ridiculous degree, where it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, where it's just like, and the sound effects keep getting bigger and bigger until finally, Helena just smacks the lollipop out of his mouth and it lands on the ground. And after the meeting, he picks it up and dusts it off and he puts it back in the wrapper. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Do you know how few times I make it to Malaysia to get this particular flavor of lollipop? It's my favorite, and I'm not gonna let you ruin it." Just like, you're weird as hell, man. So they go on their mission, which is Checkmate's Black Knight headquarters, which is quite literally an airship in the shape of a giant horse head, like the actual Black Knight. And they,
oh, nice to see Checkmate showing up in the new 52.
Yeah, I kind of really liked it. This airship looks badass too, by the way. They successfely get in.
Well, it's still, what's his name from Justice League Dark doing this, right? Mikkel Janin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning art-wise. They get the information, they escape, they parachute out, and they're like, "Yeah, go team!" And they make their way back to their headquarters, of course being St. Hadrian's Finishing School for Girls. Kind of see where I'm going here already, don't you? It turns out this lollipop that he was slurping on was actually him trying to get DNA of Mr. Minos, the guy that's in charge. So he was like trying to get Helena or someone to smack it out of his hand so it would land on the surface somewhere. It could pick up skin cells, and he sends it off to Batman for analyzing. And Batman gets it and he puts it under the microscope, and they're talking over their hidden radios. And it is, oh, well, I would have done it, but apparently Mr. Minos has nanobots everywhere that eat all of his skin cells as they fall off of his body. And that's when he's like, wait, are you saying I'm covered in these nanobots from Spiral? What else can they do? Can they hear me right now? What's happening? Oh my goodness. I'm in a lot of trouble right now. We don't know. Oh crap, this is bad. It's even worse for him. It's even worse for him because Helena Bertinelli is suspecting him as being the mole, whoever's sending out these signals. So she's like standing outside the door like, And even worse for Dick Grayson, the female students have used their little hidden cameras to catch pictures of Dick Grayson shirtless flexing his abs on the windowsill. And they have decided to lead a Manti raid against Dick Grayson because, oh my God, sexy boy in our finishing school. Oh, this is going to be great. What do we do on a Manti raid? I don't know. Don't the guys just run in and yell and do stuff? Okay, let's do that. So they're putting on their like skull masks and they're complaining to one another about how mine doesn't fit right. Yeah, mine's loose too. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of this. And as they're outside his window trying to get in and get his boxer briefs, Dick Grayson.
Of course he wears boxer briefs.
Of course. As they're about to do that, Dick Grayson hears the commotion outside and jumps out the window and sees them all down there. They're like, there he is, sexy ab man. And they start chasing him around the campus and he leads them off on this great page spread of the campus with him just like hopping all over the place and them chasing after him. And Helena,
like he's Ida No from the Family Circus cartoon.
It's exactly what it's like. It's the dotted lines with them chasing each other. And that's when Helena Bertinelli goes in the room and she's looking for some sort of clue and she's like looking out the window at him hopping around with college-age girls chasing him all over campus back and forth, Benny Hill music playing and everything. So we'll come back to them in a second because elsewhere, Midnighter of Stormwatch fame.
Yeah.
If you remember, they had a bit of a scuffle in the first issue of Grayson. He still wants a rematch because if you recall, it is Midnighter has his precog abilities when it comes to combat. He can predict what someone's about to do, and Grayson can read the muscle movements of people from being an acrobat for so long, so he can kind of tell what people are kind of about to do combat-wise. And they had a draw where they were just like counter. Well, I'm going to counter your counter. And that doesn't work for Midnighter. He has to at least have a finish to this fight. So he is out trying to track down these mechanical organs as well. So, cause he knows if he has one, Dick Grayson will come to him. He can have his fight. Everything's going to be cool. So he's like beating up people trying to get information. And that's when Apollo shows up and goes, dude, we really need you to come back to Stormwatch. You got to come to work at some point. You've been running around Eastern Europe trying to find these organs just so you can fight some guy. Just let it go. Let it go, man. He's like, I can't. Gots to do this, and he kind of tosses a guy out of a helicopter, knowing Apollo is going to save him, but it gives him the time to get away so that he can continue his hunt for Grayson. Back at the finishing school, hoppity hop, 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 it's him still being chased, and he's got this big old grin about how it's great that he's been stationed at a finishing school for college-aged girls, and it's awesome, and I'm never going to wear a shirt again because I can turn them good using my abs. And Helena Bertinelli shows up and breaks up the fun. Girls, go back to your rooms. Dick Grayson, I was in your room, and I need you to follow me down to Mr. Minos' room right now. And it's like, oh crap, does she know? Did she figure it out? And they go on down there. And what she has turned him in for is fraternization with the girls. It's like this, phew, she doesn't know, but really, I think she does. Like, there's this full-page scene of her looking around the room, and she's blatantly looking at the stuff he's using, the clock radio that he's using as the radio, and she's just kind of sitting there, and that's when she sees him all laughing and jumping around with the girls chasing him, and she goes and looks at that instead. But he hauls her down there, and his punishment is he has to now teach gymnastics to the girls, but he is going to have a cover.
Oh yeah, nothing bad can happen from that.
He has a cover. His cover is he is a gay French Olympic champion, and that way the girls won't be interested in him. And Dr. Netz, the daughter of Otto Netz, like the really creepy Nazi super scientist that we saw back in Morrison's, she's staying there. She's like, oh, a gay French gymnast. I'm going to be writing stories about you, Mr. Grayson. Sexy stories. I mean, verbatim, that's what the panel says. And the next panel, all these super spies and deadly people just stop, and look at her strangely. And then there's just like this uncomfortable coughing, and then they go back to their actual like debriefing. It's so great.
Sold.
So great.
Sold.
They end up blaming the signals that were coming out, which is why Helena Bertinelli was looking and thinking Grayson was doing all this. On the remote cameras the girls were using to snap pictures of Dick Grayson because they sent a signal back to the printer, and they're like, well, clearly that's what it was. And that night, Dick Grayson goes to bed, and Helena Bertinelli comes into his room, and she tells him, I know why you decided to join Spiral. I know exactly why you came here. You had to give it all up after you were exposed. If you were going to keep doing this life and keep jumping around and having fun and being Nightwing, it was going to expose everyone else in the Bat family, and you couldn't do that, but you didn't want to give up the lifestyle, and that's why you came with me here. The thing is I don't want you to forget that. I want you to remember Nightwing. I want you to remember having fun doing this, because that's what makes you you. That's what makes you so good at what you do. So what I want you to do right now is chase me. And she jumps out the window, and they have a chase through the actual campus. It's a really nice scene, and this whole book swings so wildly to intrigue, to just blatant comedy, to odd situations, to combat, to touching scenes between the characters. It shouldn't work with the whiplash of jumping to all these genres so quickly, but it really, really does. And the artwork by Janin pulls it all together, and it's so much fun. It is so great. Check it out. Brian, I have the issues.
I know.
I have the issues. You gotta get on this.
So moving on to one of my new favorites, got Gotham Academy #2.
Oh, yeah. I actually had to do the written review for this one over at Talking Comics.
Okay. So you can fill in all the stuff I didn't take notes on.
You are the worst this week.
I know.
The worst.
So everyone's talking about ghosts, and everyone's freaked out.
Spooky
ghosts haunting the campus. And Professor McPherson, the English/Gotham history teacher, pairs up Olive Silverlock with Pommeline Fritsch on their Gotham history project because they hate each other and conflict, because that's what teachers always do.
Yeah, they like to have that competition, that drive.
Yes. So when they're in the library, they find a secret map in a book about the gates of Gotham, which I love the constant tying in with stuff from the Batman history that really doesn't affect them at all, but it helps build to the world that they're living in.
It just makes it feel more organic at that point.
Yeah. There's a secret map in this book. Pommeline doesn't want her to see it. Olive says, a secret map, huh? I wonder who I can get to go and find where this thing is on a secret map. Oh yeah, I have a friend whose literal name is Maps, who loves maps, so I will have to go. We will go investigating at the school cemetery. Apparently there's a school cemetery.
Well, yeah, because they see the cloaked figures running towards the Cobblepot mausoleum that's on school grounds, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
No wonder you have ghost problems.
Yes. They go investigating at the cemetery. They find a creepy crypt underneath a tree. And there's people in robes and horned skull masks chanting. And oh my gosh, it's so spooky. And then it's just Pommeline and her hipster boyfriend. And some candles get knocked over. And Olive gets the book back. And there's fire encasing her. And it might be magic. And it might just be clever artistic license. We don't know. Because there's all this mystery about, what's the deal with Olive's mom? Because a lot of people sure seem to know about her.
Yeah, I'm starting to get like contextually that maybe she went insane. Cause it's her like questioning her sanity all the time, and it's not me, it can't be me, it's not me just making this up in my head, like what happened with my mom and everything like that. It's just, okay, well, obviously sanity is very important to her, so maybe it's like a genetic thing. She's afraid her mom went crazy, she is as well.
Mom's at Arkham or something.
Yeah, I hope she's not at Arkham.
Yeah.
The big thing I was curious of is why there's a whole bunch of C-list villains as teachers.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Yeah. The bookworm is the librarian, and Professor Milo teaches chemistry.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I can look into Professor Monahan and McPherson, and see if she is some kind of old Batman.
She's shown up before, I know that much.
Okay. But yeah, very amusing. Bookworm's even got his stupid little
his
reading
book light on his
book light mounted to his hat. Love it. I also like, I don't know what his name is yet, but I do like Akira Kid.
Akira Kid.
He looks
Her
like Akira.
ex-boyfriend, you mean?
Huh? No. The kid that literally looks like he came straight out of Akira, who's sitting there like sketching in his notebook, and he's sketching a picture of maps.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Olive accidentally spills some like soda on his thing. He's like, "Oh my gosh, don't look at my picture! Don't look at my picture!" And then sure enough, Maps comes like, just bouncing over. It's like, "Hey, can you draw my Dungeons and Dragons character?" And he's like, "Oh my god!" He's just got like the hilarious like anime mortified face.
Yes. I do love the fact when they're going into the mausoleum, it's like, I'm going to loot the crap out of this mausoleum.
Yes.
Really,
Maps might be the best character.
So energetic, and really have to figure out where they shop as far as their posters and clothing. Because so many cool little Easter egg, just sight gag things in the background.
God, yeah, there was isn't it Byronic?
Yes, isn't it Byronic?
Lord Byron poster.
Yes. So much fun. But it really is, as I even said in my written review, this is a textbook case of you have to trust the creative team. Because it's much like Lost. You're getting more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And as these mysteries are building up, I don't even know which mysteries are tangential or which ones are actual clues to the mystery at large, like the main mystery.
Yeah, there's some sexy Twilight guy in the library who's got like glowing red eyes that like it shows up for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I
mean,
what's
that?
So many little weird one-off things, especially in the background panels and everything. That I was even looking at the spread of dinner and I'm like, maybe it's a clue.
Yeah, or do they just have a really good cafeteria?
They really do have an awesome cafeteria.
Yeah. Whereas I just like, they feel like real kids. Like, I love the fact that like Pomeline's trying to be like all evil and her like hipster boyfriend is like still being nice to Olive's like, you're supposed to hate her, but she was my tutor. She's super nice. Come on.
It's just not, it's so much energy to hate.
And Akira Kid, while I never drew pictures of girls I had crushes on, I do recall just constantly trying to cover up my notebook so no one saw what I was drawing in study hall. It's like, oh man, yeah, that hits a little hard. It's a little hard. A little close to home.
So I think it's a matter of if you can just come along for the ride on the book, you should have fun. I mean, obviously I'm just like anyone else. I have to trust the creative team on this one as well. But if you need, I don't want to say instant gratification, but almost a positive reinforcement from the story itself, it's not going to give it to you in this one.
No,
it's not going to say, oh, this is the direction we're going. This is what I'm aiming towards. It's kind of a ambiance of mystery.
If you just want to hang out at Gotham Hogwarts and have some of the best artwork in the business, hey, you got that going for you, if anything.
I'm kind of hoping it's a bold decision for a book that is already has strikes against it, I would say, because it is a bunch of new characters that aren't superheroes. It is a small corner of Gotham that really doesn't have any history. It's a different art style. It's all these things of different, and different doesn't always sell in comics. So,
yeah, I know.
So it's a bold move to come in with a storyline that is also not giving people that instant feedback of, hey, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. So I'm hoping it pays off because I like the diversity of the line. And so, this has a role.
The corner of the internet I hang out on with all the artists and stuff, everyone's freaking out about this book and loving it, but that doesn't necessarily translate to widespread sales.
I didn't check the numbers, and number ones don't really count, so I think this one will kind of start to give us a hint on.
Because it seems like it's bringing in a lot of people who normally wouldn't read a Batman book, but we will see.
Yeah, we shall see. Let's leave the Batverse then.
Okay.
Let's just leave it behind because I have Lobo number 2.
Okay.
That's about as far as we can get from the Bat universe. Lobo is been assigned a job to protect a hit. Someone has hired a bunch of assassins to assassinate something or someone, and he has been basically hired to be the counter-assassin to make sure that assassination doesn't happen. Last issue, number 1, I had the theory that it was the Earth itself. This one, we find out I was correct. It is actually the Earth that he is trying to protect, and he is fighting off some of his fellow assassins, and in this case, it's people he used to look up to, the Grunt brothers who speak in Death Skull heads. That's like what their language is on print. And they're using a strangelet generator to try to destroy the Earth, and he just kills all them and takes it up out of the caves. leaves out of a porta potty and he's complaining that there's all this like secret history and stuff that's going on right under these people's noses that they don't even know about, and they build porta potties on top of it, and I hate Earth so much. And he makes his way back to his motorcycle, where he finds that Riala, the alien that has hired him to do this job, has also hired some local help for Lobo as well. And in this case, it's I guess you could say a bald biker with a handlebar mustache and a duster jacket, a cowgirl, and a Romani little kid. And he's like, what is this? And they're like, oh, Riala hired us to be your backup crew on this mission. He's like, I work alone, and even if I didn't, you guys have to be the saddest group of support characters I have ever seen assembled. I'm not doing it. And he goes flying off with them anyway because, sorry, part of the contract, you have to come with us. They make their way to Shanghai, where the next assassin is at, and he just kind of leaves them behind, goes inside, and it's a flesh robot. It's like a robot that skins people and puts their flesh over its robot body.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
And Lobo just comes in and shoots it in the head. He's like, this is so easy. Why am I the one having to do this? Anyone could do this because I just walk in and shoot these people all the time or cut them up with my laser blades. And that's when he finds out that this particular one was trying to assassinate Earth with a biological weapon. And it's been released already because Shanghai is crawling with zombies, and it's gonna be Lobo and his pals against zombies. And they actually fend them all off and corral them in, contain the contagion, and all of his support crew are helping him out. And they're like, yay, we saved the Earth. And it's Lobo sulking because part of the Lobo code, if you save something, it's your responsibility from then on. And he's like, but I hate her. It's got some interesting stuff. I like the way it's written, in the fact that Lobo honestly is the most unwilling savior of the planet Earth possibly ever. He really doesn't want to do it whatsoever, but all of his stupid little codes are making him do it because he accepted the contract before he knew the terms of it. But a Lobo always finishes his contract, and now I have to defend the Earth even though I hate it because a Lobo always honors his word. It's kind of he's kind of being strangled by his own code of ethics that is already loose to begin with. I like that kind of storytelling element.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes from here. His support cast is a little generic, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hoping they really start developing them here. I know they just basically toss them in as let's start developing them, but they're pretty generic.
Eh?
Like, if I didn't know any better, I'd say they're probably gonna die next issue.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so I'm staying vaguely spacey with Justice League 3000.
Vaguely?
Number 11. It's the year 3000. It might not even be the same universe as the rest of the New 52. We don't know. The Justice League 3000, they are on Camelot 3000.
Yep.
They're on the planet of Camelot 3000, the medieval planet.
Which, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. Howard Porter was on Twitter going, this is why I played World of Warcraft for 10 years, so I could draw all this medieval architecture. And by the way, for the Horde, Aru.
Okay.
Loktar Ogar. Yo.
Played Alliance when I played that game, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course you did.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to have a pet bear. Come on.
You could have a pet bear on Horde.
Actually, I think I got rid of the bear and I upgraded to a giant evil turtle.
Well, that makes sense.
Big spiky turtle.
That makes sense.
So, my naming conventions are so much fun with dwarfs.
With dwarfs?
Yeah. Dwarfs have weird, dumb, Cal Corcoran style names.
Oh, is that what you did? You just made characters and named them Cal Corcoran style aliases?
Yes,
Didn't even get past level 1, just on to the next one.
Yeah. Brush Storm Cloud or whatever. Anyway, they're on Camelot 3000, and they have just defeated the 5, the unbeatable supervillains. And the evil Wonder Twin, Terry with a Y, they let him go. Because they make a deal where if you take all of the Cadmus internal nanobombs out of our bloodstream, we will let you go. I was like, well, okay. He gets all grumpy and he lets him go. And his sister, Terry with an I, who is the new Flash 3000.
Correct.
She is happy and hopeful that he will maybe turn around. I don't know, the dude snapped your neck. I'm not sure if he's going to be,
hard to come back from that
hard to come back from that one, yeah, but whatever. He gets to go back to Cadmus World, and there's like another convert still there because there's billions of converts and you never really get rid of him. So the rest of the 5 are being held down by Camelot 3000 magic, which Super Douche does not cotton to one bit. He's like, oh no, this is all very fishy. Keeping the computer guy trapped inside of runes, that doesn't make any sense. I don't buy it.
Yeah, we should punch it or throw it in a portal or something.
So the Justice League 3000 are going to set up shop there, and their new headquarters is the Space Castle.
Yep. On Camelot 3000.
Yep, Lancelot's there. He's flirting with the Lady Flash and hanging out in a Space Stallion style rocket horse.
Yep. Very Jonah Hex rocket horsey. Mm-hmm. Robot horses.
Batman has some parenting issues with Ariel Masters. I'm not sure if he's trying to flirt with her or is like, are you my mom? I don't know. Are you evil? Can I date the evil out of you? I'm very confused by you, ma'am. I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm wearing this Ren Fair shirt. I don't know what's going on. I'm very confused.
This is way outside the Bat element.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Super Douche is busy trying to prove himself as the best superhero by trying to train the new Flash in her powers.
Yes.
And there is no doubt that this Flash is faster than this Superman, and he just does not want to give into it whatsoever. We literally get a whole page of Superman with his hands on his knees, trying to catch his breath after a race with the Flash, and it is fantastic. Panting, hold up my finger.
Yeah, just 1 second.
Oh, back to the panting.
Keeps asking him all
some of the best comedic storytelling I've seen in a while. Just that one page.
Flash going, well, he keeps letting me win to help build up my self-esteem. And they're like, he's not letting you win.
No.
Yes, I am.
So, back on Cadmus World, where Terry has gone back, he decides that the only thing to do to fight the Justice League 3000 is to parasite clone a new Justice League. But oh wait, Ariel Masters has corrupted the Cadmus superhero DNA bank.
Oh.
So she can't.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Are we sure it wasn't 50 Sue?
I still think 50 Sue is Locust, but whatever. Like, all right, then I will parasite clone an Injustice gang. All of the arch rivals of the Justice League. Bane 3000. Mirror Master 3000. Sinestro 3000, Zeus 3000, and Lois Lane 3000. The arch enemy of Superman, Lois Lane.
Well, remember, their history records are a little
spotty
off.
at best. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what's going to happen when Super Douche meets up with Lois Lane.
Yeah. He's going to use the Grayson tactics, using his super abs to convert her over.
Yep. So meanwhile, on prison planet Takron Galtos, which was formerly Earth, some guys, some prisoners who are sort of like trying to be like good prisoners and maintain some kind of societal structure there, they're just unearthing some random part of Takron Galtos when they find a cryogenic chamber, and inside are Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Actual Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, not a hoax, not parasite clones. They are literally flat out saying in the next issue copy, yeah, that's really them. Yep. Check it out.
Yep.
Look what we're doing, everybody. Buy our book. Come on. Honestly, we've got a good explanation, or at least a mildly amusing one.
Yes.
And my heart grew 10 times in size.
But they found the Booster Gold Blue Beetle mint in box.
Yes.
They're going to make a fortune on Takron Galtos.
Yes.
Maybe turn around that whole planet, sell it off, be awesome.
eBay Takron Galtos.
And I love how you made it to the end and you're like, holy crap, these guys are back? Is that the big secret that you weren't supposed to tell me? And I was like, not even half of it.
I am so excited about this book, which makes me worried, but
it's as we talked about off air a while ago, it really does seem like editorial has been release the shackles on people and they're just letting them do what they want, as was said in that interview by Giffen, and it is ridiculous, some of the plans that are coming down the pike, especially in this book. So
I'm just putting my fingers over my ears and going la la la.
I know. That's why I haven't said a word. Just saying it has some fun up ahead. I can tell you that much. And maybe some dark. I don't know. It could go either way. But my flip-floppy book that I was kind of like, about at first, but now I'm kind of like, is Aquaman and the Others number 7. We're dealing with Aquaman and his side team of friends that all have Atlantean artifacts, and they all hang out together and have adventures. And they've formed their own super team called the Others. Because they're not the Justice League, they're the Others. They're the other people he hangs out with. Where the operative is falling to his death after the KG Beast tossed him off of a building because he was trying to get a flash drive that the operative had. And as he's falling to his death, he's like, this is the end for the operative. It was a good run. Remember, I'm a 75-year-old guy that my super suit keeps me in the spy game. And Vostok shows up and picks him up and flies him up to the top of the building. And they both basically have the most glorious Russia conversation where he is like, KG Beast, is that you? And he's like, Vostok, is that you? It's good to see you, friend. And they have their little convo and KG Beast's like, hey, by the way, which Vostok are you? And he's like, which Vostok? I am Vostok. Vostok is not copy. Why does everyone keep saying Vostok is clone? And they end up fighting one another because KG Beast still wants to kill Operative and steal this flash drive. And Cheshire joins in on KG Beast's side because they're working together. And it's fighty fight. And that's when Aquaman shows up as well, and he jumps out of a helicopter because that's what he does. He dives off of high things and kind of crashes down, and it's basically fought to a draw until Cheshire and KG Beast escape with the thumb drive. They're able to snatch it away, and using another ally called Maelstrom, who is basically like a wind lady, she kind of blows them all back, and they all escape. Yay, go team! And Aquaman's kind of standing there like, guys, I'm kind of really feeling left out here. It's called Aquaman and the Others. I'm on the title. You guys are all having Russian adventures. You're spies. You all seem to know each other. What's happening here? Can I at least get brought up to speed? And Operative goes, me and KG Beast being counter agents on opposite sides of the Iron Curtain for so long. Yeah, we have a rivalry. Cheshire and I have had assassination attempts back and forth every now and again. That's all it is. But if it's all them working together, it's probably this super group of villains called Mayhem. It was kind of like an old, Russian-style spy-esque villain group.
M.A.Y.
Nope, just Mayhem. Okay. Just Mayhem. And, so they goes, okay, well, so what's the deal? Should we be afraid? And he's like, well, if what's on that flash drive is what I think it was, yeah, we're probably gonna have to find them and take care of that. Now, in Pennsylvania, another one of the Others by the name of Prisoner of War, who has all of the ghosts of his fellow soldiers that have died around him, is off visiting the families of these soldiers and kind of giving them a final moment with their loved one as they possess his body and they have a conversation, or at least come up for a moment so they can say, hey, love you, sorry I'm gone, but, you'll be okay. Hope everything's all right. Here's a postcard from the afterlife type thing. And he's there with Aaron, the grandson, quote unquote, of the operative. And as they're explaining to this particular lady, they go, oh yeah, your son didn't die in a car crash like the government told you. He was actually killed in a spy operation in Germany years ago. See, we were there and we were about to get deployed out. And that was when this KG Beast guy was stealing secrets from the government there. And he was in a firefight with some other operative, and your son got killed in the crossfire when that operative was shooting at the KG Beast. And that's when the ghost is like, hey, wait a minute, why do you keep saying operative? Wait a minute. He starts going all rage mode, the ghost inside him, and he's like, whoa, what's the deal? What's the problem here? And the ghost finally informs him, or actually it's Kahina and Jungle Girl, as you call her, Yawara, show up. And they tell him, yeah, Operative is the guy that actually shot your friend that's inside you there during that little scuffle. Dun 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 dun! More intrigue between the Others, and of course Aquaman has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Finally we check in with Mayhem, who have taken over Vostok's moon base because, hey, why not? It's got Russia symbols on it and stuff. It's a Russian base, and they'll never find us here. They have put in the flash drive, and what it is the launch codes to an old Russian nuclear satellite, and they are going to hold the world hostage to make billions of dollars and conquer the world. And they sit there and go, muah ha ha ha, muah ha ha ha. And that is what the others will have to deal with.
Wahaha.
Mwahahahahaha. It's fun. It's so much fun. It's
like
it is Most Glorious Russia.
Yeah.
It is so Most Glorious Russia because it's Mayhem as Cheshire, KG Beast, NKV Demon, which I guess is like the updated KG Beast.
Okay.
Because the NKV is like their news spy or internal thing. And then Maelstrom, Stranglehold, and Braze, who are kind of like the Whip Snap and Bone Cracker and all those guys that we made fun of before.
Oh, man.
A lot better than that first arc, though.
Okay.
Because it's already, the characters are actually interacting. They have to because the story is based off of what each one of them knows and their histories with one another. So it does feel much more like a team book instead of the Aquaman and his support squad. Yeah. So moving on, you got the last book of this.
Closing out with Green Arrow 36.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. So we left off last issue with the cliffhanger of Felicity Smoke is going to kill Green Arrow. Murder. And so as we check in with her, she goes, oh, yeah, actually, I'm not going to kill you. That was just a good way to create some interest on the last page of the last issue.
Did the Joker's daughter explode behind her?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. She's like, actually, I was hired to lead you into a place where, like, other, like, murder people are going to kill you, but I actually realized I didn't know it was you when I was hired, so I led you to a different warehouse that doesn't have any evil people in it.
But it does have a salmon ladder over there if you want to partake.
If you want, I've got a tire with a sledgehammer, you know. So I'm just going to stand here and...
A little coat hanger for your shirt if you just want to put that there.
Yeah. So, hey, I am just going to appoint myself your new IT girl, and you're just going to accept it because I'm on the TV show. And he just goes, well, I guess I'm going to have to.
He like opens up the TV guide. Is this real? Oh, I guess so. Okay, welcome aboard.
Yeah, so he just sort of looks at Dig and shrugs. He's like, I guess. He's like, hey, I'm on the show too, so I'm here. Let's just go through with it.
I exist.
Yeah, let's go through with it. He's like, all right. And so they go to try to track down the guy who wants to kill him. And it sort of intersects with this Malcolm King guy who is still trying to hunt down Mia Dearden, the eventual Speedy. Someone named Mac Morgan, who I didn't know his name. The name shows up once. He saves Mia Dearden from, like, Malcolm King goons and then immediately gets killed at the end.
Oh.
So, I was like, okay.
Well, that was a short-term love affair.
Yeah, so there's, like, this big... He kind of looked like the dude that plays, Arsenal on the TV show.
Yeah, he did. That was why I was kind of confused,
like,
too.
What? Yeah, well, but we've already got an Arsenal.
But he didn't put his red hoodie up and do frog jumps, so it couldn't have been him.
Nope. So there's a big showdown where, like, where the Green Arrow team search intersects with Mia Dearden, intersects with the Malcolm King goons, and Mac gets shot through the heart by an arrow, and a guy in a black archer costume with, like, a big scarred face shows up, and like, hey, if you need a good, easy supervillain, just dress the main character in black. Here I am.
It's Merlin.
But is it Merlin?
Yeah, it's like Merlin.
Is it like young Merlin?
Tommy Merlin.
Tommy Merlin.
Yes.
Okay, not
like the dad.
Not
from
Captain Jack
the show.
Harkness Merlin.
In the Zero issue, Merlin actually survived the explosion on the oil rig and washed up on another island.
Okay.
Where he was brought in and nursed back to health by these monks there, and I'm assuming he learns archery from them. So there is kind of a precedent for it.
I was thinking who that might be since we're dealing with so many characters from the TV show. So.
Yeah. So it's not Malcolm Merlin from the TV show. It's going to be Tommy Merlin from the TV show, but his comic iteration of it.
Yes.
So yeah, he feels that since he was so bad at archery as far as Green Arrow, because remember when he was just a stupid kid, he was trying to shoot the detonator out of the guy's hand in the Zero issue so that they wouldn't blow up the thing, and he actually hit the button and detonated the entire thing. So, and killed everyone that they knew and loved, and scarred him and washed him up on an island.
The Zero issue. All right, I didn't read that back in the day. So
so not the best start for Green Arrow.
That's why he's got the scarred face. All right,
see,
makes sense.
So we have,
and they are checking in with Biff and Naomi, like Felicity when she's going off on one of her ridiculously quirky rants. You know, she talks about how I'm telling you,
love triangle between all of them.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Zach Braff picked up this issue and he's like, man, tell me more about this Felicity character. I'm really intrigued. I'm not sure if I've ever done the show, but I kind of give the actress of Felicity some flack about how she does it. If this is the dialogue she's working with, she is doing a master stroke, making herself likable on the TV show. Because as a forced introduction of her, it was a bit much.
It was a
bit
little
much.
Deus Ex Machina, like, hey, I'm here now, just deal with it.
I'm going to be extra quirky to really drive the
I
point
know
home.
your secret identity. There's nothing you could do about it. So I guess I'm part of Team Arrow now.
There's also a bit where he's thinking about Oliver Queen is thinking about all the people who could have possibly killed him, or who want to kill him.
Yeah.
And we go through his entire rogues gallery, and instead of Talkman, we get old continuity Clock King in there.
Yeah, I noticed
That's
that as
a little weird.
That was what we got in Harley Quinn as well.
Okay.
When he showed up, so I guess they're pulling back on the Talkman, which I'm surprised by because that seemed to be a better iteration, at least starting point for Clock King. Being the gang leader that was real efficient on making sure his operations ran on time and everything like that. That made a lot more sense. That was kind of a numbers gangster. And now it's the weird old...
It's the weird Terror Titans guy?
Yeah, it's the weird guy again. You look at him and just go, he must be German. I mean...
Yes.
So, there were some stumbles in this issue. I'm not gonna fib, but I mean,
it's a Green Arrow story featuring characters from the TV show and bringing them into the new continuity. So
it's hard to follow up the Lemire Sorensen.
It's so hard. It's same with the Uphill. It's like Flash is telling a really good story.
Yeah,
but
even Green Lantern went through the same thing as well. I think I just need to put some distance there, and then I can go back and reread it all, and maybe it'll read a little bit better. But coming off of runs like that, that's why I'm so afraid for Wonder Woman. Because coming off of runs like that, it is so hard to just change gears and just go a completely different style and direction. And
I'm scared.
I want it. I absolutely want new takes. I want these things to happen. It's just it takes some time to actually wrap your head around it sometimes, I think. So we'll see. Or maybe this one's just not for me. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. But there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
That's the problem I have. There's nothing like wrong with it. I can't be like, oh, well, the dialogue sucks. The plot line makes no sense. There's all this stream of consciousness, just lunacy going on left and right. I have nothing to complain about. It's just not hitting that itch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you're just jumping on because you heard, the TV show guys are working on this, you probably think this is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I kind of put it at the end because I was like, I just can't get all enthusiastic about this one. I don't know why. So. That was it, though. That's all of our books for this
weird
ramshackle, craptacular episode. We've been dealing with the baby crawling all over the place and yelling and multiple pauses and, my head cracked open and my baby brains are leaking out. And it's like, you're ruining the show, baby. And, it's just horrible. So apologies if it was a little disjointed. What you guys can do, though, and especially this week, because you probably didn't get much out of our rambling this week, is go out and buy the books. If anything even stood out to you, buy Grayson, for the love of God. For the love of God, people. If anything stood out to you, if anything sounded fun, it probably was, and we just did a crap job of relaying it. So check it out. Make sure you buy these books, because if you don't buy them, they don't make them. Nobody wins. We don't have anything to do. You don't have anything to read, and people don't make money. And people like money. People really like money. I don't. I hate it.
Yeah, that's why we're doing the show and buying all these books.
I burn piles of money in my backyard. It's not my money, but but as such, if you're going to hold off a week or so, guess what is coming down the pike? More books.
More books.
More books. But next week, a little bit easier for us. It's only down to 11 or so. We can handle that. Yeah. Get us back to hopefully back in the groove once more, because we have the Batgirl of Burnside, number 36, is coming out. Batman with Endgame Part 2. Batman Eternal, but of course, Constantine, number 19, who is using the power of rock and roll with his demon electric guitar on the cover and pick held high.
Okay.
Yeah. Earth 2 World's End, number 6. Green Lantern Corps continues the Godhead stuff. Justice League United, number 6. We get to see if the Blonde Away team gets to survive their trials and tribulations, or if it's going to be the brunettes that pull ahead this time.
Yeah.
Clarion number 2 comes out next week. New Suicide Squad, as they call it, number 4. New 52, Future's End, number 28, and World's Finest, number 28. That looks like it is Wonder Woman protecting child, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent on Earth 2. So, I would assume if she's immortal, if she's got the whole God thing, maybe she was like defending the two of them when they were still kids. Remember, World's Finest is going back to detail the origins of the Earth 2 iterations and their stories leading up to Earth 2 number 1 where they all got killed and Darkseid trashed the planet. So we get kind of a, hey, Earth 2 gets to live in theory over here, maybe. We'll see what happens. So, there is Scooby-Doo team up. I don't know if you saw this, but both Scooby and Shaggy were turned into Sinestro Corps members because they have the ability of great fear.
Oh my goodness.
I just saw it on the another issue was coming out and I was like, oh god.
Yes, my son saw in one of his Teen Titans Go issues that they're going to team up with the Teen Titans Go team in one of the issues. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I might have to buy that despite my lifelong hatred of Scooby-Doo.
Well, apparently the Teen Titans Go team are being shrunk down and turned into the Tiny Titans as they have a battle inside the body of someone.
Really?
So I don't know if they're going to go full Tiny Titans with it or what, but I just overheard it in the background when I was working on something else. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, plenty of books for next week. If you do want to get in touch with us, if you want to say, guys, what the hell was this steaming pile of crap you released this week? You can do so at any channel. Brian, how do they find us?
The internet.
That's right. The Brainiac 2.0. You go on there and you type in DCR podcast and basically all your options will pop up. Or you can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. I say we pull the plug on this thing, man, because the little beep beep machine next to this bed of this episode has been flatlined for a little while. So, again, apologies, guys. Enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.